Hi there, welcome to Joyous Cakes and More. In this video, we are going to be baking this cake, making the buttercream and decorating it from scratch. So first of all, into my mixing bowl, I'm going in with my butter, then my vegetable oil. I'm actually using margarine, alright, but you can also use butter. And then I also went in with the sugar and then mixed together. Now you can use your hand mixer just as I'm doing, or you can also use your stand mixer. It is still very okay. At the same time, you can still use your wooden spatula or hand wicks to do this cake, to do this creaming process. Is advisable you cream for at least 12 to 15 minutes, and if you're doing it manually, for you to get a very fluffy batter which will subsequently at the end of the day make your cake to be fluffy too, you need to hand mix for approximately that 15 minutes to 20 minutes, all right, for a very good result. Now I'm done with the creaming method. I'll be introducing the eggs. Now I decided to whisk my egg, but you can also decide to put it one at a time, all right. But this is the process I choose. Any method you choose to go with, it is all right. Now mixing, when you add a particular egg, make sure that you mix it, let it be well properly mixed with the butter, all right. And to be able to achieve this, as you are mixing, you should ensure that you get your spatula and you scrape down the side, scrape it down and try to mix so that everything gets combined, just as you can see I'm doing in the video. If you don't do that, sometimes the sugar or some parts will just be hidden somewhere. So after that, I added to the last batch of my egg, I added my vanilla flavor. You can also play around with flavor. You can mix your vanilla flavor with butterscotch flavor. It gives a very nice flavor. Another thing I've tried is using the milk flavor, like super milk flavor. It's, in fact, the taste is usually wow. So with that, I'm done with adding of my egg. Now I'm going to be working on the dry ingredients. As I said, this is times three of the recipe, and what you saw me adding now is my baking powder. I just decided to split it into two as I'm sieving my flour. I am adding my baking powder, that way everything gets properly combined. Now please don't ever take the chances of not sieving your flour. It aerates it makes air also to get into the flour and helps make your cake soft and fluffy. So please don't make the mistake of leaving your flour like that, okay. And now I'm adding it. Now this is where I made a huge mistake. Using buttermilk for this particular recipe. After adding the first batch of flour, I was supposed to go in with my buttermilk, but honestly I forgot. Now that is why it is important, when you are making your cake, when you are baking, get all your ingredients close to you, get them nearby. It will help you, it will help prevent this kind of mistakes. Now just go ahead and see what I did, and we're going to see the final outcome. So here I'm still adding the flour. What I would have added now is my buttermilk. Like, you divide your buttermilk into two, you divide your flour into three. You start with the flour, then you add the first batch of your buttermilk. After mixing, you add the second batch of your flour, you mix, then you add the second and last batch of your buttermilk, you mix, then you add in the last batch of your flour and mix. That is the right process. But you can see I was just carried away by how, lush and attractive the batter was becoming. I didn't even notice it. You see, when I saw how thick, I was like, this is not supposed to be this thick. That was when I remembered, oh my OMG, my buttermilk is in the kitchen. So I had to carry it. Now, what saved me here from having a bad cake day was that I mixed my flour using my spatula. Do you know, if I had actually used my hand mixer, this batter would have been over mixed. And in baking, when you add the flour, you don't need to over mix it. You just mix to properly incorporate. But God helped me that I used my wooden spatula. And then what even added it all was that my my mixing bowl was too small. This is the first time I'm actually making this recipe in a larger quantity, and I was just like, I don't know, I was in a hurry. I was carried away. I was just from work. I was tired and all that. But that is not a good excuse to give. But that what just saved me was that issue of my using my manual to incorporate my flour. It helped a great deal. So this is my buttermilk. I'm just trying to add it a little at a time. It was not funny actually, but it does happen. This is the second time this has happened to me. I was making a cake, then I was making a fruit cake. Do you know, I had broken my eggs, I had whisked it, but I forgot to add it. And God so kind, my butter, my flour was introduced into my butter using the spatula too. I did not use stand mixer. So when I was like, this thing is hard now. It shouldn't have been. After I've incorporated everything, that was when I remembered my eggs. So I ran. I got it. I just introduced the egg into it, and I'm telling you, it came out so well. And that was what I was just like, oh God, help me. Oh God, help me. That was just my prayer. And God actually helped me. You can see how my butter looked so nice. Now here I was prepping my pans. Ideally, I was supposed to prep my pans before, mixing. But I'm glad I didn't, because it helped the butter to rest a little. Okay, it helped it to rest a little. So here I'm introducing my butter into my baking pan. So the quantity, see what it gave me, size 3 of size 8. And then of course I always had my testing time. So here is the buttercream. I'm making the buttercream. This time around, there was no electricity. The power supply was cut. Was cut. I mean, how? Now, but there was no just electricity, so I had to use my wooden turning stick, and I kept on mixing and mixing. So you keep on mixing these until it becomes light and fluffy, just like this. I think like this, it was okay. And this is my icing sugar. I've already sifted it. All right, I've sifted it. In fact, please don't joke with sifting your flour, icing sugar. We don't want lumps in our buttercream. When you have lumps, it gives it this rough look. It's and sometimes some of those lumps are so hard to break. So please don't take chances. that extra 1 minute it will take you, or 5 minutes it will take you to sieve your icing sugar, you will realize it is worth it. Okay, so here I am mixing the buttercream. You can see it looks so lush, it looks so lovely. But I was like, I wanted to add something. It was too tainted. So since we add other colors to our buttermilk, like you add color blue, food color blue to our buttercream to be able to give it a blue color, I was like, okay, I need my buttercream to be lighter, and this is not vegetable shortening, so I decided to use my white food color just to boost the whiteness. And then what you see me adding now is milk. Yes, this time around I added milk just to loosen it up little. I didn't want it to be too hard. If you make your buttercream to be hard, the truth is that it will not stick properly. It will be falling off, or it will be peeling off your cake, and it might really fall off. Okay, so just add a reasonable quantity of liquid. Now this is the decoration process. You can see how beautiful our cake has baked, and it even came out with a little dome. That means it was not over mixed, and it was so moist, it was so soft. Just try the recipe and thank me later. Okay, now if you notice, I fetched a little of the buttercream in a separate bowl. This is because you'll be introducing it to the cake, so there might be crumbs that might follow, and we don't want that. Okay, so here I also made a silly mistake here. If you notice this one I'm putting, there's a lot of patch addition, cut and join here. I did not remove my cake from the pan. In fact, because I was in a hurry, I left it. I literally left it in the pan all through the night until the day I wanted to bake. So you can imagine when I was trying to remove it, and I did not put baking paper, so it just, some parts came off and left some parts. So all I did was just to remove the crumbs and try to fix it. You can see how I'm doing gently that way, so that it does not crumble, knowing that I did a lot of cut and join here, but I was so glad it never ever showed. Yeah, it didn't. Okay. So here you can see the dome. I even have to cut out some dome. Is God not good? This is the third cake that I'm adding. Yeah, that's the third layer. It was actually a 3-layer cake. And then this is my plum. I got it. This plum helps you to know which side is slanted, which side is higher than the rest, so that you know where to add a crumb of cake so that it becomes level. You can see this time around it was leveled. By the way, my client was waiting for this cake for me to finish. I just came back from work and I started working headlong. And thank God for my ring light that also uses what is it called? Power bank. That is what I was using. So here I was trying to trim off a little. I don't like over trimming. Things are expensive and I don't like wasting my client's cakes. So I try as much as possible to see that I don't trim too much. I'm only trimming those parts that I felt were protruding. And this is size 8, 3 layers, okay? So here we keep on going. And then now I needed the cake to be stable. So I added a plastic rod. This is a plastic rod. It is sold in cake shops. I just added one, then I added skewers. This helped the cake to stay secure while I'm mixing and also during transportation to my client's residence. Yeah, so you see, that is the buttercream that the main one I set aside to use. So you see, there was no fear that cake crumbs have been introduced into it. That is why I said it is better when you're trying to use it, or you're trying to stack your cakes, fetch the buttercream you will be introducing as you stack, set it different, and the one you use for the final crumb coating, set it different. This way you have a very neat cake devoid of anything that is crumbs or look like crumbs. So here I'm introducing the buttercream. This process is a very good process for beginners. Like a beginner can do this, all right? It helps you to cover all the cake. Sometimes you realize that some parts are not even much more higher than the rest, so you just take it at a time. You see, most cakes, we used to do it fast. Most times we fast forward it. Making of cake is actually patience. You have to be patient when you are baking, when you are decorating. You have to be patient, all right? So here I'm starting with smoothing the top. Now, can you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to smoothen the body of the cake. See where I started? You start from the far end and work it round. That way you avoid all this line of your smoothener all over your cake. Now, there were some places that had this sign of, should I say, holes or some gaps. So I was now using the cake to fill it. Now, this is the cake comb I really wanted to use, so I decided to use it. If you get your cake comb, just be doing it as you can see in the video. This is one way to help you have a very clean scraping or a clean smoothing. You hold the cake from one end, you see, from the other end, and then roll it to the other end until your two hands meet. That way there's no all this one sign except the end. I hope I'm making sense. So at this point, honestly, I could have made it more smoother than this. I said it was night and I was kind of tired from work, and my client was waiting. They needed the cake the following morning. So here I'm smoothing the top. I'm trying to like create the sharp edge thing, and I think it's okay. Now for the little design, it was more like a fourth line cake. So this is my buttercream. I fetched it separately and then added some drops of my royal blue food color, just as you were seeing. Then I introduced it into my piping bag. I did not wash my piping bag and I did not use a new one. It kind of gave it a marble look initially. Well, as I mix, it definitely came together. All right. So here I'm just introducing just a little. All right, just a little. You can use virtually any color of your choice. Here it was for a man, and we were using color blue. They didn't want any top design or anything. They just needed something casual but matured and classy at the right time. So this is me going with my little cake comb. Now you can freeze your cake, but I did not freeze. Okay, I did not freeze my cake. You can see how it is looking. Isn't it beautiful? Then I came to the top. I noticed bakers now design their top. It looks so good, and I usually love that zigzag. I love that texture at the top. So I decided to just decorate it. You just do as if you're cleaning. You just add a little pressure as if you're cleaning the top, and it comes out with that sign. Now here I added edible spirit to my gold dust. Was not what I actually wanted to use. I wanted to use gold leaves, but I looked for my gold leaves and I could not find it. I guess I just kept it somewhere because it's been long I actually used it. So I and due to the order on ground and how I needed it to be done, and it was almost night, I just decided to, you know, just go with this, and I think I liked the outcome. So while this is almost coming to an end, I want to appreciate you. If you've watched to this length, I am saying thank you. I sincerely appreciate you. I want to thank all my subscribers that keep on coming back, my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for your awesome show of love. You have just been awesome. You have been wonderful. And to my new subscribers, I want to wholeheartedly say you are welcome to Joyous Cakes and More. Thank you so much for your presence. I appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the questions, with the ones I can answer, the ones I've answered, the ones I've not yet answered. I really want to say thank you to you all. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Thank you. I think I'll start doing shout outs and I'll begin to take notes. So if you are new here and you want me to give you a shout out, just let me know where you are watching this video from and I'll give you a shout out in my next video. Thank you so much for all your support. I sincerely appreciate you. And this was the final outcome of the cake.